What's up, y'all? Today we have with us Brandon Hairston. Brandon is a multi-hyphenate from Prince George's County, Maryland. It wasn't long after being hired for his first office job that he realized sitting at a desk from 9 to 5 wasn't it. To pass the time, he began writing short stories and sharing them with his coworkers, family, and friends. In 2011, Brandon produced an adult short series called Now I Know My ABCs. Many readers commented that his writing was so vivid they could see the action play out as they read along. That feedback sparked his interest in television production. In 2014, Brandon wrote and directed his first web series, DC Yuppies, a scripted comedy drama on the lives and relationships of young urban professionals in the nation's capital. After 2 successful seasons, he switched his focus to Bad web series, an overacted and underproduced parody of the Black drama genre. Today, Brandon can be heard on the His Mama, Her Son podcast, where he and his mom team up to discuss life, entertainment, and current events. Everyone welcome Brandon Hairston. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, Renee, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you. Me and Brandon went to college together. Go
Yep,
TU.
TU.
People probably like, where's TU?
Exactly.
If they're from Maryland, they don't know. No, I'm just joking.
I didn't know.
They know about us somewhere.
Yeah.
So as always, I like to start off by playing a little game so that the people can get to know the guests a little bit more.
Okay.
And it's called People Want to Know. Okay. So the people want to know, Brandon, if you could hear any song for the first time, what would that be?
All right, so I have 2.
Okay.
One is a gospel song, and my friends are probably looking at me like, gospel? But yeah, I do like some gospel. So it would be Stephen Hurd, Revelations 19:1. The first time I heard it, I played it a couple of times. I was like, wow, I listened to like the choir and how everybody's blending. I really loved it, so I would play that one.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take it back. I like Prince, The Beautiful Ones.
Ooh.
I'll sing it at karaoke. I'll play it over in the car. If somebody calls me, I got to stop and I'm not listening to what they have to say and I got to play the song over again because you interrupted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my song.
Those are original. I don't think I'm ever going to get those again.
Yeah, I like those.
And I'm going to have to look up the first one. I feel like that's one of those songs that if I know it, if I hear it, I'll know it.
Yeah.
But I'm not familiar with the artist. So I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay. All right. So you're into TV production and web series. So what are your favorite TV shows of all time?
I'm a big comedy fan, so I wrote a few down. The Simpsons, of course. People say like around like the 9th season, it kind of got dumb, but I've been watching The Simpsons. I'm 33 years in, and even though they're not all as funny, I still love The Simpsons. I always go back to The Simpsons. But more recently, I've gotten into Family Guy. I still like Family Guy. I like irreverent comedy. I like when people like aren't afraid to say things that you wouldn't normally say. So Family Guy, Modern Family, because I like that whole mockumentary style. I don't think too many people started doing that until they did it. This Is Us. Every episode, it draws you in, like the storyline. It's like something, it all connects, and I like that. Grey's Anatomy is another one. I'm really into hospital dramas. I used to like ER with my grandmother. Yeah. And I just, now that Grey's Anatomy is here, it's kind of like a reinvention of that.
Yeah.
And then all the old Fox 90s shows like Martin, Living Single, I feel like all of those are kind of what shaped me and got me into going into, TV writing now.
I love that. All of those shows are long-lasting shows, which proves that they, the longevity proves that they were good shows, good quality TV. And you have like your animated comedies all the way to your This Is Us drama. So right. That's a good combination there. And Martin, of course. Martin is a favorite, A Different World. Those are my tops. What shows are you watching right now?
Okay, I'm gonna try to rattle them off. Abbott Elementary is a quick favorite one of mine.
That is my jam.
I love it, yeah. Euphoria, which is on the opposite end of school, but I like that one. Snowfall. I still watch the MTV challenges with the real world road rules type of thing. Bigger, because it kind of fits like the kind of writing style I want to go into. The Equalizer, with Queen Latifah. Curb Your Enthusiasm is another comedy I like, where you can just make a show about nothing and everybody can relate to it.
Yeah.
Still watching Grey, still watching Family Guy. Insecure was a big one. The Wonder Years, I like the reboot.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Everybody Hates Chris, but it's still different enough that it feels like a different show.
Yeah.
And Power. I like the original Power, but I also like the spinoff Ghost. I haven't started Kanan and Force yet, but I like Ghost.
You've thrown in some that everybody watches that I haven't watched that I feel like I need to like hop on the bandwagon. I haven't watched Power. Well, I've watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes. I haven't watched Snowfall, and I hear great things about
That's
it.
good. Yeah.
I need to, I'm a comedy person too, and I'm like, I have to be in the mindset to watch them type of shows.
I feel you. I get it. Yeah.
You know, I like to feel good. I like to laugh, but
Yeah.
I mean, I hear that it's quality TV, so maybe I need to check it out. Good. I love it. I love it. So now we get to know you a little bit better. We're gonna hop into these questions and get to the interview.
Okay.
So you mentioned in your bio that you started by writing short stories. Has writing always been a passion for you, or is that a newfound hobby?
I didn't really think it was a passion, but when I think about, growing up, I used to be, over my dad's house, over my grandmother's, and I would use her computer to write stories. And I didn't know that that would be something that I would, do later in life. It was just as a kid, I would just, think of like my 5 friends, and I would put us as the Power Rangers or something like that. And I would write scripts about us, and I would like read it later. But I never thought that, as an 8-year-old, that, later in life, that this would be something that would come back up. But yeah, I guess it did start that early.
I love it. I'm trying to do the math. I'm like 8. You had a computer at 8. Yeah. We had. I remember like middle school. We got that big old box computer with
the big box. Yeah.
Yes, the AOL hookup.
That was it.
Cool. So, what excites you most about storytelling?
I guess just being able to put words on the paper and people relating to what you have to say or enjoying what you have to say. That means a lot to me, that, somebody took the time, like if I have a script and they're like, I want to see what you've written next. Or if you have a new project, a new, web series, I want to see it. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. So that kind of excites me. And it makes me, when I know people are looking for, the next project, it makes me want to get back out there and start working on the next thing right away. Whether it's a whole series or just a YouTube or Instagram skit, just to, keep the creative flow going. But yeah, that really excites me when people enjoy, what I do.
Yeah. So what was that transition like for you, going from writing these short stories and sharing them with your coworkers to now you're producing these web series? Like, was that all information you had to go out and find out on your own? Did you know anyone else who was producing shows? Like, what was that process like?
In the beginning, yeah, I was kind of by myself. I did go reach back to a friend I've known or somebody I've known from, earlier, but after that initial meeting, then I started, researching. I had to figure out how to structure a script. I had to figure out how to manage a cast, how to manage a crew, because that was all something you don't have to do when you're doing, a book. It's just you write it, you edit it, and then you send it off. But now you have all these parts that you have to manage. And it was funny because I always wanted to write. I never wanted to direct. I never wanted to be a producer. But when you're working on indie films, your budget is kind of small. So and a director and a producer is going to eat into your budget. So I quickly learned, if I want to keep that and give it to the cast or, put it into props, I have to figure out how I'm going to learn how to do this. So yeah, it was a learning experience in the beginning, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, I bet. So let's journey into the web series. The first one for you was DC Yuppies, correct? Where did that concept come from, and like what was the brainchild behind that?
So I think of DC Yuppies as kind of like a spinoff of myself. Not necessarily anything that I've gone through, but the friends that I had, we were all in our 20s at the time, fresh out of college, maybe a few years of work experience. I was trying to figure out life and relationships and friendships. And I felt like it was relatable, but I didn't want it to be so much about, just working. I wanted it to be about the actual relationships and that tight-knit group and how, we go to happy hours. There may be some tension here and there between the group. And how does that play out on camera? And I wanted people to be able to relate to it. I wanted, people that were in their 20s to be able to relate. I wanted people that were older than, 30 or so to say, I've been there. And, in the grand scheme of things, all the small stuff doesn't matter. But, as you're going through it in your 20s, you have to watch it play out. So I wanted everybody to kind of feel it. And then I wanted people that were younger than us to say, I want to be those people when they get older. So that was my reasoning behind it.
Yeah, because when I think about shows that we talked about at the top of the show that we still love, Living Single and,
Right.
Martin even, I feel like we were kids at that time, but we were like looked up to them like, man, they're so
Mhm.
cool. They're in their 20s, they're going places and they're working and they're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the reason why I feel like now that we had those experiences, why we still love those shows today,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
it's so realistic and it's so much, and it shows, especially at that time, there weren't a lot of shows that displayed Black people just living their lives,
Yeah.
like it wasn't
Exactly.
just, us in the hood or like, ducking bullets, like
Right.
people just going to work and fall in love and,
Yeah.
just doing the regular things that regular people do and
Exactly.
showing us in that light. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's so important to continue to make those type of shows,
Mhm.
because the next generation needs that, and the next
Right.
generation needs that to show that we are human and we
Exactly.
live life just like everybody else.
Mhm.
So let's fast forward to now bad web series, which I
Uh-huh.
think is a genius idea. I love the idea of,
Thank you.
just kind of making fun of these bad web series that have poor production quality and, poor acting. But it still is shot very well, and it still comes across very well because it's great
Thank you.
writing.
Just, baby, I'm sorry. I know what you saw may have looked funny, but believe me, I would never do anything to jeopardize what we built. I love you and only you.
I knew it. Oh, you lucky. You are lucky. I'm on my way to see Jess and Latavion right now.
Can you tell Jess to call me then?
No, you didn't.
Shay!
No!
Let him go!
He's crazy. Don't let me catch you sleep.
So what inspired that web series?
I was finishing up DC Yuppies and I was thinking about, all the things that happen behind the scenes that nobody else sees. All you all see is, what's on camera, what we post. So I was thinking, there were times where people would forget, we're shooting, a second part of a scene and you need to wear that same outfit from yesterday. And they show up in different clothes. And it's like, how are we going to write this into the script? What happened? Or maybe somebody didn't show up that day and now we have to write them out on the spot. So I was like, this is a show behind the show. So how can we incorporate that and put it on camera so people can kind of get an idea of, what happens in production? So that was where the idea came from. And one of my friends, co-creator, shout out to Ronald, I just was sitting there and I just said, hey, you want to write a web series with me? And he really was like, okay. And we just started writing from there. And that's how it came about. And now here we are 3 seasons later.
That's so dope. And you're still creating. There's a new series coming or a new episode coming?
Yeah, there's season 3. We actually finished it. It'll be on Kweli TV, which is like a Black streaming service.
Oh, awesome.
So they have seasons 1 and 2 right now, and they're getting ready to push season 3 coming soon. But yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
that is so awesome. That's such a dope idea. Like, first of all, people don't necessarily understand what goes into a big budget show, but then what goes into, a smaller budget, independent web series. Like you said, actors might not show up,
Yeah.
You don't have those big budgets or those big contracts. They might, just there isn't always the same commitment, or they might have a 9 to 5 they got to go to, or they can't show up,
Yeah.
So there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that, man, the viewers take for granted. So putting that, out there for people to see makes you kind of look, just in the time that I've done like little background stuff, I look at TV so much differently now. I'm looking at the background. I'm looking at, costumes and lighting, because you get that experience. So a lot of the time people who are just watching don't think about those things. So that helps them to do that and get everybody wants the inside peek, right? Like everybody wants the exclusive. So
yeah, I definitely call it the web series for web series creators, because I think like if everybody has ever written one or starred in one, you're definitely going to understand it. And if you're just regular audience, you'll just laugh at it because you've seen like things happen on TV and you're like, that wasn't supposed to be there.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I noticed that so much more now. I was watching an old episode of A Different World, and one of the characters was on the steps and they like moved it and like so quickly he was in a whole nother part of the room. I'm like, what did he fly? Like there's no way.
Exactly.
There's no way possible for him to be that, but editing sometimes doesn't catch those things.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, like when you talk about like it's for people who create web series, one of the things that is so special about comedy is it just makes fun of real life. Like
Mhm.
people, the comedy that sticks is comedy that is the most realistic, the stuff that people have just been through. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I can laugh at that because I've been through that. What makes you gravitate towards comedy, and are there any other genres that you see yourself ever dibbling and dabbling in?
Mhm. So comedy for me seems easier because I do enjoy a good comedy. Like I said, I enjoy like Family Guy, The Simpsons, and those are my shows. I mean, you heard from my list, I do like a few dramas, but I'm more of a comedy guy. So it's easy for me to stick to what I know.
Right.
When I think about DC Yuppies, that was kind of like a dramedy. So I had some laughing moments in there, but I wanted it to be dramatic. I wanted people to, feel for these characters, and I felt like you could feel when I give them, some conflict and maybe wrap some comedy around it. So there may be some more drama coming, in future shows or future series, but comedy I feel is my strong suit, so I try to play up to that.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what is your creative process or your writing process? Where do you go to get your inspiration?
I can write anywhere really. Sometimes an idea will come while I'm walking the dog, and I'm like, oh, let me take out my phone and put this down before I forget it.
Yeah.
But I like to write and on the couch, or like people say I can't write, I'll be distracted. And maybe that's true. Maybe if I sat in the office and typed up more, maybe I could write a little bit more. But I like to be comfortable. So I'll write on the couch, I can write in the bed. I'll get up. Sometimes I'll go to sleep from like 9 to 11. I'll wake up at 11 at night and I'll write until like 3 in the morning, just because that's the time that I have. Otherwise I'm at work. So, I'll do it, late at night. Some people say they should outline. I probably should outline a little bit more so I can, say the story starts at A and it ends at Z. But sometimes I like to freestyle. So I'll start writing just, to see where it goes. And if it makes sense, keep going. If not, then I'll take a break and, I'll write it out and say, where do I want the story to end? But for the most part, I kind of freestyle, and, as long as it makes sense and it keeps making sense, I'll keep going. But otherwise, I'll take a step back and say, okay, let's put some plot lines here. But yeah, just I like to freestyle.
I love that you mentioned kind of like your schedule. Like I might take a nap here, I'll wake up and work from
Yeah.
11 to 3. Because a lot of people, and that's kind of the purpose of Name a Better Duo, is to just show people the unique ways that you can follow your passion and
Mhm.
pursue the thing that you really, want to pursue, or your purpose rather. And I feel like a lot of the time people are discouraged because,
Mhm.
they might be working a job that they are not passionate about, or,
Yeah.
I feel like they don't have the time to commit to what they really want to do. And when you really are passionate about something, and when it's something that is more of like something that you're just drawn to in that
Mhm.
way, you'll make the time.
Exactly.
You'll make the time. And another thing that can be discouraging is when you're getting into something that isn't producing
Hmm.
the money yet,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, again, when it's something that you really enjoy doing, that's not really the focus. It's like, I gotta get, especially something creative, it's like something I've got to get out,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
the benefit of seeing the fruit of your labor is just so much, it's so fulfilling, right? Like when you're actually watching it on YouTube, or
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
seeing other people respond to your hard work, and
Yeah.
the fulfillment, that's the reward, and of course we want to get them checks too, and that
Yeah.
will come. But just the fact that you're, willing to put in the time
Mhm.
while you're still grinding is everything.
And a big part of that is, having the support system behind you, having that family member or
Yeah.
family members and those friends that are backing you along the way, that are like, we know, like, like you said, the money with the passion projects aren't happening right now. But if you need somebody to do the makeup, I got you. If you
Right.
need actors or you need like background work, I got you. If you just need somebody to talk to, you're not feeling it today, but you don't want to quit, but you need somebody to just keep pushing you. They're there. So I have to shout out, all the actors, actresses, cast and crew, from DC Yuppies to Bad Web Series to His Mama, Her Son, all of that stuff. I want to say thank you to everybody that continues to support and continues to keep me lifted, even when I'm behind the scenes frustrated and wonder when that big break is going to come. I want to thank everybody that keeps me uplifted.
Yeah, it's so important to find your team. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like so, not everyone is gonna have a family who supports, something creative like this. They be like, just get your check, work a real
Exactly.
job and get whatever. But to even if you don't have that, find the people who do support you. Find people who are out here like creative as well that want to, create with you. And that was one of the questions I was gonna ask next is how do you cast for your projects? How does that work? Are you like relying on friends or how does that work?
For DC Yuppies, I did a casting call. I did different casting websites. I did some casting groups on Facebook. But for Bad Web Series, there were people that were a part of DC Yuppies that I was like, I want to bring you to the next project. And then there were just a few other people that I said, we're not going to do an official casting call, but I feel like if you still want to be a part of this, I feel like you're a very animated person. You can really bring out the role. So go ahead. I think I'll give you a shot, and if you got it, you got it. And that's kind of how we did for Bad Web Series. We didn't do anything official, but it really feels like everybody just gelled really well together. We can have fun on camera and off camera. So yeah, I think you just kind of know. You kind
Yeah,
of feel
yeah.
it.
And it's been successful because everyone on the show is hilarious. Like
Thank
it's
you.
so funny. And they're not trained, or some of them trained, or they're just people that you're like, you would do good in this role and they come
Some
and
are trained. So the guy that plays Tony Alonzo, he I think is a performing arts major.
okay.
Karen, who plays Shay, is an actress, and then everyone else just had an interest in acting or had that natural ability. Shout out to my mom because she's always going to say, "You never mentioned me." My mom
Oh,
is Mrs. Hughes from DC Yuppies, and she's Sassy Black Mama on Bad Web Series.
okay.
Hey, Tay. Baby, it's Mama. I just came back from the doctor and he told me I got it. And I just wanted you to be the first to know.
Ma'am, your total is 763. Please drive around.
Damn, don't you see I'm on the phone? Just make sure them fries is hot, hot. Okay, Tay, I was lying earlier, but please call your sassy black mama back. I should have never let Christian come between us. That fool played me better than Alfred Woodard plays a crackhead mama.
And
Okay.
that's pretty much like if you ever watch any show that has Jennifer Lewis or
Mhm.
Monique or any Lisa, what's her name? Jack A. Harry from Sister Sister, they always have that sassy black in your business, gossipy, I'm gonna tell you like it is, mom. So I was like, let's just do a play on that. And that was my mom, which is she's
Yeah.
kind of playing herself.
Right, right. Oh, that's so cool. And I was gonna bring up next the podcast that you have with your mom, his mama, her son.
Yeah.
And it seems like that is her personality, fun,
is.
bubbly,
Yeah.
What is it like working with your mom?
It's great. Again, she lets me, use her house for different sets. So when we do the different shows and I need another house, I need another living room, she's like, okay. So it works out because she's always going to support me as long as, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
She didn't even know what a podcast was when we did podcasting, but she was like, I can talk. And
Right.
she can. So you put a mic in front of her and she just goes for it. So she's enjoying it. We're, I think, 113 or so episodes in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she's been enjoying it. She wants to do one with like another woman her age so they can do like their own mother talk and all that stuff. So I was like, okay.
So she's branching off. Now
Yeah,
she got
right, she's a star.
new skill set she didn't even know she had.
Exactly.
I love it. I love how we can see, because I tell my dad all the time, like, you need to be on TV. I love how we can see because we, are doing it ourselves and in other people. Like, you
Yeah.
can do this. You've
Yeah.
got a natural talent just to, you got the gift of gab. You need to get on here and talk, okay?
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. So where do you see yourself and, be creative productions going in the next 5 years?
I'm definitely still in the web series circuit.
Mhm.
I want to continue to make my rounds because I feel like that's the way that, people get attention on, indie projects. So, or get their eyes on it. So I want to continue to focus on that. I want the podcasting to expand. And I know that's only going to happen by word of mouth. So I want to continue, my mom and I and, our friends and family pushing the podcast to see how big it can get. I'm not expecting success overnight. I know we've been at this for a few years, but I mean, I know it takes time to grow and we got to make ourselves stand out amongst everyone else. The mom and son thing is, a unique thing, but we got to see what else can we bring. So just keep pushing. Also want to get into a writer's fellowship because I hear, those are really big and people that come from those usually go on to be staffed in, network television and cable. So, it's been a lot of no's, and those have been hard to take, but you can't let one no or two no's or 50 no's, mean it's the end if it's something you're really passionate about. So, in 5 years, I'm hoping, that'll be the time within that 5-year time span that I do get into, the fellowship program, and we'll see what happens from there.
That's dope. That's so dope. I think that is what separates those who are successful from those who aren't in this industry, is the pushing through, pushing past the no's, and just continually. I think now we're seeing a lot of people, win by just creating their own, like you are. We see like the Issa Rays and Kevin on Stage and all these people who are just like producing their own content. They're like, kept hearing no. Well, nothing's gonna stop me from doing what I want to do, and I think that you're doing that, and that's just a encouragement for people now who are trying to break into this industry. Is like, start producing your own content. Most actors you see now are people who have been acting for a while, are breaking into directing, and they're breaking into producing, and it's like, it's inevitable, I feel like, almost in a way. So why not go ahead and get started now? Find your team, find the people who are going to support you in this, and just put it up, just do it. We don't have excuses anymore. We have too many resources now.
You
not
can
to
do
do
your
it.
stuff on the phone. Like, there's no reason to wait for a camera. You can do it on the iPhone. And honestly, bad web series was all shot on iPhones.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's encouraging, because I think that's another thing that holds people back is money. Like, I don't have the money for the expensive equipment, but you got an iPhone that you type on every day. And it has a great camera. Try it out, and just do it. Like you said, there's no excuses. What other encouragement would you give to someone who is just looking to break? They have these creative, innovative ideas that they want to get out there. Like, what would be some tools or some first steps that they should do to get started?
The first thing is to start, because I think I've heard a lot of people say, like, I want to do a show, or I want to become an influencer, or I want to do a blog, but I don't know where to start. And it's like, you got to start with that first post. You got to start with that first video. If you keep on saying, I have so many things in my head, but you got to get them out. So I think you have to start somewhere, pick that one. And it may not be the hit that you were thinking, or it may go viral, but you won't know if you keep everything in your head. So I would say the first thing is just to start.
Yeah, that's good. I think starting is so important, and then consistency, because it can get discouraging when you're putting it out there and you're getting 10 views. Or, and seeing all these other people, and you're like, my content is better than theirs, and it's blown up, but it's the consistency. A lot of those people that you see blowing up have been doing it consistently over time, and that's the reason why finally something hit, and I think that is so key in anybody's success in any industry, is consistency and just sticking to it, even in the low times and the slow times, and choosing to just continue to put yourself out there and step out of your comfort zone, because like you said, you had no experience or desire to direct or to do those other things, but you did what you had to do, and now look, you're on a streaming network. So that right there is encouragement, I feel like, for people to just do it.
Thank you.
Do it. I love it. This has been a great conversation. Anything that you're working on that you want to keep us updated about? Let us know your social media handles and where we can find you.
So again, Bad Web Series Season 3 is coming out. You can watch it on KweliTV.com coming soon. If you haven't watched the first 2 seasons, you can get caught up on it there. DC Yuppies is still on YouTube, so you can watch seasons 1 and 2. Instagram at Be Creative. That's BECRE, the number 8 IVE _. You can also follow His Mom or Her Son. That's the podcast at HMHS Podcast. We're on all major streaming platforms. So you can find us on there, pick up from this week's episode or any of the past 100 or so. Just, check us out. And for me, it's just Brandon Hairston. And on, what else? Twitter at Be Creative, same thing, Be Creative _.
Yes, and look out for Brandon's mama's podcast coming soon.
Yeah, she's serious.
It's coming soon. Thank you so much again, Brandon. This has been a great conversation. I know the people learned a lot, and I just want to encourage people. That's one of the reasons that we're here, is to encourage people to step out of the box, try something unconventional. If it's something that you're feeling drawn towards, just go after it. Don't wait until tomorrow. Start now. As always, I am your host, Renee Nicole. Thank you for watching Name a Better Duo. Go follow Brandon, all he's doing. Go catch up on all the shows. It's so good.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.